So here's what I want to do. I'm going to use a zip code in an area that I used to invest in. So Karen Green probably recognizes us, and um, probably a few other people actually, for that matter. So I'm going to start with a zip code. You can start with city, county, zip code, state, or specific address. And just as a reminder, guys, um, this platform gives you access to every residential property, including vacant lots in the entire country. You're not just restricted to one zip code or one county or even one state. So if you, like me, have contacts all over this, you're going to love this. I mean, it works in any area. So I'm just going to use this one area here. It's called McCandless. Now, if you notice, when I highlight the number of properties in McCandless, there's 16,007 properties in McCandless. Clearly, I'm not going to want to market to all these people. I'm trying to narrow this down to between 20 and 50. So I'm going to take my time here, guys, and really go through and let you ask questions. We're going to go into the filters in more detail, so you really understand how powerful this is. So, guys, the filters are better, even better than they were before. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on the regular criteria by hitting that little drop down there. See where my cursor is? Okay. And you can choose to include or exclude. I just always do include. And down here, I don't have um, the option to match all selected. I leave that turned off. Um, okay. So, and here's your option. Here's your criteria choices. You can choose one or many. All right. You have absentee owners, which means they don't live there. And if you hover over this question mark, it actually tells you what the criteria is and how they identify it. So it gives you a lot of details. Pretty neat stuff. It also tells you now if the property is actively listed. So this platform interfaces with all of our MLSs. Pretty awesome. It tells you if the people who own it now pay cash, if they're behind on property taxes. Foreclosure activity means this is activity before they go into pre-foreclosure. This is where they're getting notices of default, things like that. Okay. I'll show you later on. There's actually foreclosure activity, there's pre-foreclosure, and there's actually in foreclosure. So this is foreclosure activity. The bees are buzzing around the hive. All right. You can also find out if a person owns it completely free and clear, if they have high equity, low equity, no equity, like they're upside down. Upside down means the mortgage principal balance is higher than the value of the property. We can see if someone is an active investor, and this is someone who has investment properties, and at least one of them was bought in the last 3 years. Where a board investor is they own properties, but they haven't bought one in 10 years, and they might be interested in selling because guess what? Investors who have owned properties 10 years or more are more likely to sell. And it's a big statistic too. We can actually tell if a property has been flipped. Okay. I mean, this is awesome. And remind me, guys, uh, if you don't hear me talk about the booklet towards the end of class, please remind me to show you how we use this flipped criteria to use our booklet. Okay. It's an excellent way to find buyers. Okay. Um, so in any case, foreclosures, that's if they're actually in foreclosure. Long-term owners, 25 years of ownership or more. Potentially inherited means there's activity that leads the data aggregators to believe that the property was inherited. Pre-foreclosure, that means you're past the notices of default, and now the attorneys are starting to get involved. Okay. Vacancies, just like it sounds. Zombie property, I always want to turn this on because people say, what in the heck is zombie property? Let me go back here. Um, these properties are in the pre-foreclosure process and are also vacant. So people have given up. We used to call that just leaving the keys for the bank. The people would literally put their keys on the kitchen counter, and eventually the bank will send some inspector by and they'll see the keys. But they go underground. They don't want to communicate with anybody or anything. So, they've and also it's been identified as the U.S. Postal Service as being vacant. So, in any case, kind of interesting some of the nomenclature. So I'm going to pick Actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to go with long-term owner tonight first because I know the area and I know that there's Allegheny County, where this township is the second most aged county in the country, only behind which I think it's Miami-Dade down in Florida. All right, you notice there's 4,000 homes, 4,083 to be exact, that have been owned 25 years or more. So I'm going to narrow this down by using delinquent tax activity. I'm going to add that criteria. So now it's using both criteria to narrow this list down. Now look at that. And I, guys, I didn't plan this. I just picked this right out of my head. It actually has 19 fines. I'm going with that file, right? So is Karen Green on tonight? Karen Green, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
I would do this, all right, and do like Deb
Yep,
Warner. So
yep, I
and
see
check
it.
this. Yep. So check this out, guys. We found a report last fall, because we were wondering why, why so many people, why so much delinquent tax activity. Turns out there was over 30 billion in unpaid taxes, property taxes at this point last fall. And we looked deeper. Guess what we found out about the people who were behind on their property taxes? 93% of them owned the property free and clear. They live there, their mortgage is paid for, but what's happening is the interest and insurance and taxes are no longer being escrowed. They've got to pay it themselves now, right? They're not. Look at these first three: free and clear, free and clear, free and clear, right? I mean, go all the way to high equity, free and clear, free and clear, free and clear, free. I mean, this is amazing. So, in any case, let's just pick on one of these, all right, and take a look here and see all the details. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. So I just want to show you the new look and feel going back a few months. So you can see this place has got an awesome footprint and they're back up against the woods. I don't know if I remember that street or not.
Gary, can you
Yes, sir.
repeat or show again where you saw that you said free and clear?
Yeah, it actually has it down here too. When you click on each individual record, it gives you
Uh-huh.
the types, criteria types. Yep. So he pay cash for it, he or she. The owner free and clear, long-term owner, and delinquent tax activity, and they have a vacancy. I would definitely contact these people. Hey, guys,
Cool.
I mean, you talk about highly motivated.
I
So,
want
any
to go
case,
Pittsburgh.
I'm telling you, man, it's a lot cheaper than Boston, PF.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So, so we see the owner, Clifford
You
Staney.
can find them though in any market, PF.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You can find them in any market. It doesn't matter. You can find them in your market too, where they're paid in full and they're vacant
Yeah.
properties and they're delinquent in their tax records and their tax.
100%. I know. I was just trying to be enthusiastic.
I know you are.
Yeah. So I was going to say Pittsburgh has great sports teams, but you know what? So does Boston. So you can't argue with that. So, okay. So, in any case, mailing address, really important. Now, this mailing address is the actual subject property. Obviously, the owner lives there. If I was to use absentee owner or active investor or board investor, 99 times out of 100, the mailing address is going to be different than the subject property. You got to keep that in mind, and you're going to know why here in a little while. Okay. So, Nikki, so go into the owner highlights. They've owned it 47 years. I think this guy's ready to sell. Okay. Um, in any case, single family home, I think I saw is a 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath. Property taxes, 3,500 a year. Last sale, he bought it for 55,000. Good Lord. In any case, all kinds of property highlights. Then you get into zoning and legal stuff. The valuations, 323 would be the after the let's see, I think it's that AVM is automated value method is what it is. Market value is 147. That's the tax market value, and the assessed value for sorry, market value according to tax assessor is 147, but for tax purposes it's 129. In any case, construction and materials, uh, building size, and you get down here, and oddly enough, he's never had a loan. He bought it free and clear, and he never had a loan. Um, that's definitely one I would contact. But let me show you some more stuff here, guys. All right. Now, we have the file of 19 people. Let me get it reloaded again. Hang on one second. And I'm going to pause here after this part and let you guys catch up and do your own search, and we can take some Q&A. Then we'll get back to the demonstration. But we have these 19 people. I could go into filters here. It's additional filters. Okay. And if you scroll down, you can actually put in a range of market values, like a minimum and maximum, as well as rents. I would just do the market value. To scroll down further, you can narrow it down by property features. So I could have just selected single family homes and unchecked all of these, right? Bedrooms, bathrooms, year built, lot size, square feet, the whole 9 yards. And then down here, owner information, right? You can actually search by an owner's name this. Just go into here, do a zip code search. If you're not sure where somebody lives, just type in a name and get some results there. You can be specific on your owner type. We generally work with all of these, okay? Individual business would be like an LLC, like investors do. Financial would be a bank. Government is, of course, the government, and trust is, of course, trust accounts. Now, here's what's really neat. Who here thinks figuring out what properties have really good assumable mortgages would be a really good idea right now, heading into the next few years? Just you can do a thumbs up or hand raise or just type in the chat box. Good idea to find properties with assumable mortgages. Okay, so check this out. You can actually select mortgage type. FHA is in here. Now, they don't show USDA or VA, but FHA, VA, USDA are all three 100% fully assumable to a qualified buyer. Qualified meaning the buyer qualifies just like they will qualify for their own mortgage. But here they can assume a mortgage from the seller. And why would they want to do that? Well, the reason is because if you have a property that was bought um, between say 2013 and 2023, you probably got a 3% range mortgage. Who would want to? Who here would like to buy a house with a 3% mortgage right now? Amen and hallelujah to that. Well, we're not the only ones, folks. So do our clients. So you can do that. You can select FHA, and you can say maximum interest rate 4%. Whoops, I think I got to do both. 2 to 4. We already did mortgage type, finance type. We don't really care so much about that. We leave that alone. Oops, let me put 4 back in there. So I think I'm gonna kill my search results with adding boosters in there, but I'm gonna undo the delinquent tax activity. So let me do that real quick. Actually, let me first let it do a search, and then I'll go back and do that. Okay, it's done with that. So it didn't find any. So I'm gonna take off the delinquent tax activity, but I'm also going to put in there low equity. Okay. Now, why would I put in low equity? It's because I have an assumable mortgage from FHA with 2 to 4% interest rate. And if the owner has low equity, that means that's less money the buyer has to come to the table with. You see what I'm saying? They have to come to the table with the difference between the mortgage principal balance and the sale value. Now, you can get creative with that. You can have the owner finance part of it. You can get a gift from someone. You can get a private mortgage somewhere, or hard money or private money, whatever you want to do to make up the difference. But it's going to be easier um, to find properties that are assumable, easier to assume if they have low equity. So there's exactly one of those, but I could take off the long-term owner. In fact, let's do that. Let me take off long-term owner. So I got long-term owner, low equity, FHA, 22 of them. So you now know which properties in McCandless have nice low interest rate mortgages that are assumable and have low equity. And if low equity, what that means is if you hover over that, here it is, the question mark. In equity, basically, these properties are owned with a mortgage on the property and the loan to value is greater than 80%. So how about them apples? You got properties with where a buyer could come in with 20% and assume that mortgage. That's pretty awesome. So Karen, I would do the same search here, do low equity, FHA, 2 to 4% interest rate, and that will be a separate search than the long-term owner with delinquent taxes. There will be two searches.
Well, Gary,
One
to
was
me, they're all assumable.
what's that?
To me, they're all assumable.
Well, that's true if you do subject to. So yeah.
Yeah.
So for all the new folks, I want to run something by you here real quick. We actually looked at a system back last year. It was a friend of Bonetta's, and he created this program called Assume List. And he had a data aggregator too. And he went out there and found or can find all properties with assumable mortgages, FHA, USDA, and VA. Where it turns out we don't need that. And by the way, who remembers what that platform costs per person? Does anybody remember? It's like 1,500 a month. 1,500 a month.
Crazy.
And here we're getting this for a fraction, a tiny fraction of that. And we go way more than the assumable mortgage information. So
Yep.
in any case, so guys, there's two ideas for you for everybody using this for the first time. What I want you to do is go ahead, go into your Realeflow platform. If you got your login and password, type in a zip code where you are, preferably a zip code that has more than 10,000 properties. Okay. If you need to, you can combine zip codes. You can put in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 zip codes if you need to get to that number, because it's going to help you arrive at a final file size of between 20 and 50 people. Okay.